The war in Ukraine has entered yet another dangerous phase. Tensions have escalated dramatically over the past months, with both sides employing increasingly sophisticated tactics to gain the upper hand. In the early hours of the morning, while most of the city was asleep, Russia launched one of its most intense and coordinated aerial attacks on the Ukrainian port city of Odesa. This assault involved multiple waves timed to maximize surprise and impact. This was not a routine strike. It was a carefully planned assault using waves of attack drones and missiles, targeting critical energy infrastructure and plunging large parts of the city into complete darkness. The precision indicated extensive reconnaissance and planning. Within minutes, power stations were hit, transformers caught fire, and entire neighborhoods lost electricity. The immediate chaos disrupted daily life and emergency responses alike. Hospitals switched to emergency generators, communication networks became unstable, and thousands of civilians woke up to sirens, explosions, and fear. The human element of panic added to the psychological toll. Odesa, one of Ukraine's most important cities, had just become the latest symbol of how modern warfare no longer targets only soldiers on the battlefield. It targets cities, infrastructure, and civilian life itself. This shift represents a broader evolution in conflict strategies. The question now is simple, yet deeply alarming. Why did Russia choose Odesa? And what does this massive attack tell us about the future of the war? These queries point to strategic motivations that could. To understand the significance of this attack, we must first understand why Odesa is so important. Its location and resources make it indispensable to Ukraine's survival. Odesa is not just another Ukrainian city. It is Ukraine's gateway to the Black Sea and one of the country's most critical economic and strategic hubs. Control here influences regional power dynamics. Through Odesa's ports, Ukraine exports grain, agricultural products, and essential goods to global markets. These shipments are vital for maintaining economic stability amid wartime constraints. Millions of tons of food that supply parts of Africa, the Middle East, and Europe depend on these shipping routes. Disruptions could lead to widespread hunger and price spikes internationally. Any disruption here doesn't just hurt Ukraine, it affects global food security. The ripple effects extend far beyond the Black Sea. Militarily, Odesa represents Ukraine's last major stronghold on the Black Sea coast. Its defenses are fortified to prevent naval encroachments. If Odesa were to fall or become non-functional, Ukraine would be effectively cut off from maritime trade. This isolation would cripple logistics and resupply efforts. This would give Russia enormous leverage, not just militarily, but economically and politically. Such advantages could force concessions in peace talks. That is why Odesa has long been a high-value target for Moscow. Historical attempts underscore its enduring appeal, and this latest attack shows that Russia is intensifying its focus on crippling Ukraine's strategic lifelines, rather than attempting risky, large-scale ground advances. The shift to aerial dominance is evident. According to Ukrainian officials, the attack began shortly after midnight. Initial alerts came from border surveillance systems. Air raid sirens sounded across Odesa as radar systems detected incoming aerial threats. Residents were jolted from sleep by the piercing wails. Soon after, the sky filled with the buzzing sound of attack drones, many believed to be Iranian-designed. Shade drones, followed by missile launches from Russian aircraft and naval platforms. The combination created a layered assault. Ukraine's air defense systems responded immediately. Patriot and S-300 batteries lit up the night with counter-launches. Explosions in the sky indicated successful interceptions, but the sheer volume of incoming targets overwhelmed defenses. Not all threats could be neutralized. Some drones slipped through. These evaded radar by flying low and using evasive maneuvers. Missiles struck their targets. Impacts were reported at multiple sites across the energy grid. Within minutes, energy facilities were hit. Substations erupted in flames, visible from miles away. Power grids collapsed. The cascading failure affected interconnected systems citywide. Fires broke out at substations. Emergency responders faced hazards from live wires and smoke. Thick smoke rose into the night sky as emergency crews rushed to contain the damage. Coordination was key to preventing further spread. By morning, large parts of Odessa were without electricity, heating, or stable internet access. Dawn revealed the extent of the blackout. Public transport was disrupted, and emergency services remained on high alert. Trains and buses halted, stranding commuters. This was not a random attack. Intelligence suggests detailed targeting based on satellite data. It was precise, coordinated, and focused on infrastructure that keeps a city alive. The intent was to paralyze rather than destroy outright. When electricity goes out in a war zone, the consequences are immediate and severe. The basic necessities become luxuries overnight. Hospitals were forced to rely on backup generators. Critical surgeries continued under strained conditions. While emergency systems kept critical equipment running, doctors warned that prolonged outages could become life-threatening. Ventilators and incubators are particularly vulnerable. Water pumping stations slowed or stopped. Access to clean water became limited, risking health issues. Mobile networks struggled. Signal towers without power led to spotty coverage and isolation. ATMs stopped working. Cash economies surged as digital transactions failed. Elevators in apartment buildings became useless, trapping elderly residents on upper floors. Rescue operations were needed for vulnerable groups. Families sat in darkness, listening for explosions, unsure when power would return or when the next strike might come. The uncertainty amplified anxiety. This is modern warfare's most brutal reality. You don't need to occupy a city to break it. Remote strikes achieve similar effects. You only need to turn off the lights. The absence of power disrupts society at its core. By targeting energy infrastructure, Russia is not just attacking Ukraine's military capabilities, it is attacking morale, resilience, and everyday survival. The psychological warfare is deliberate. Military analysts believe that attacks like the one on Odessa may become more frequent, especially during colder months when energy systems are under greater strain. Seasonal tactics are anticipated. Russia is likely to continue targeting infrastructure to maximize pressure. Patterns from past operations suggest escalation. Ukraine, meanwhile, will push for more advanced air defense systems and long-term security guarantees. Diplomatic efforts intensify. The conflict is evolving from battlefield clashes to a war of endurance. Stamina becomes the decisive factor. The attack on Odessa is more than a headline. It encapsulates the war's human